We're gonna see if this works now.
Well, there's that live video was posted.
Yeah, right. Oh, and it's posted, and of course it's like
3 minutes of nothing.
3 minutes of nothing. Is it me talking for 3 minutes?
I don't see the talking coming live thing.
Well, this other one says that I'm live right now on my phone. Is that actually happening?
Oh, yeah. See your face.
You see my face? Oh, great. Amazing. So wonderful. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I'm sure it's probably my cohorts. Are you in there, Mike, too, Mike?
I'm going to go through the desktop and see if I can get you there.
Oh. Well, welcome to this. Just trying out something different. And, you know, if you're here, go ahead and tell me what you're thinking. Leave a comment. I'm here to answer your questions, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. You see me? Live viewers too. I'm pretty sure that's just the two of you. Oh, we got 4. Whoa. Well, hey guys. Welcome. I posted a poll asking if I should go live, and we had like 30 people, and a majority of them said yes. Some of them said they didn't know, they just like cheeseburgers. But hey, make sure to just drop your comments down here. Hi, Mike. Glad you could join us. But yeah, that's what I'm here for. Basically answer your questions, anything you might have. But I'm free to talk about just about anything. Let me know if you think this looks all right. Like, does it look okay?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. The other important question, can you hear me okay?
Mike, are you listening to it?
Yeah, I can hear him from here, from our office.
If you can't tell, I'm not alone. I have other people here who are also listening to me. But let me know in the comments down below if you can hear me okay as well. That'd be great to know. But yeah, 7 people so far. And I'm sure probably a couple of them are in charge of my employment. So that's great. Welcome. Glad you could join us.
It's 13 now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's going to grow a little bit. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much for you guys being here with us. Now, it's a little choppy here and there, but I'm good. Okay. Appreciate Cheese Man. I feel like Cheese Man was on one of our live broadcasts a while back too, so I appreciate you being here. But yeah, I guess the biggest thing that's going on right now is we have the SD1K. Appreciate Cheese Man. SD1K. So what that is basically it's an opportunity for anyone in South Dakota who is a veteran, current service member, state employee. It's pretty open-ended, actually. They made it accessible for a lot of people. But basically, if you've seen the video that we posted today, it's essentially your opportunity to basically provide a referral of somebody that thinks that they want to join the South Dakota Guard. Once they do that, then you get $1,000 in return for once they enlist. So, you know, they don't have to pass basics. They don't have to pass AIT. It's basically as soon as they go to MEPS and they're accepted, they're able to enlist. You get $1,000 back towards you. And, you know, it's a win-win situation because, one, we're rewarding you for helping us out. And for two, you know, you're giving them the opportunity to be in the South Dakota National Guard, which... I like it. I think it's pretty cool. It's one of the best in the nations. So, got some more videos coming up about that in the coming week. You know, one of the things, like I recently found out some stuff. The South Dakota National Guard is actually #1 in the nation as far as retention. And you're like, what does that even mean? So retention means that retention means that people who signed a contract and then decided to either get out or re-enlist, well, when they get out, it, obviously affects the numbers a little bit, and we have to find somebody else to replace those people. Well, South Dakota National Guard is #1 in the nation as far as retention, meaning that most of the people who join here decide to stay here. In fact, an overwhelming amount of people who join here decide to stay here. Now, why is that? I don't fully know everything why, because you're talking about hundreds of people and they probably all have different reasons. But, I would say probably the benefits that they receive, the opportunities that they have, the people that they work with, or even just the general work environment. So basically what I'm trying to say is that South Dakota has definitely cultivated a culture of, a place where people like to work. And it's shown in the stats. You don't get to be #1 in the nation out of 54 states and territories by not being good. Yes, Fuji, people do live in South Dakota. Exactly one. It's me. I'm the guard. I'm the guard now. But yeah, so floor is open, guys. Go ahead and let me know what your questions are. What else is there for a job? What benefits and good health plan? There's really nothing else there. There's a lot here, Damien. Okay. Actually, so South Dakota has a really good job environment. Typically, South Dakota is in either #1 or #2 as far as unemployment. And so what does that mean? That means that there are, one, a lot of jobs that are available, and two, the jobs that are there have a higher starting salary. Like you can work at a gas station entry level and earn $18 an hour. And that's just like a regular gas station in a small town. Like we're not talking about, doing the midnight shift in a very questionable area of the city. Like we're talking just your bog standard, working the desktop, working the cash register at a gas station. You can earn $18 an hour here in South Dakota right now. And that's because we have more jobs than we have people. And so basic theory of economics, supply equals demand. And that's why you just make more money at jobs here in South Dakota. Moving here and then joining the South Dakota Guard is a great idea because you get health benefits. You get your TRICARE Reserve Select, which is one of the best healthcare plans in the nation. It's a very low deductible. It costs $220-ish for full coverage for your family, with a very low deductible. It's around $2,000 deductible, and then after that, everything is essentially free, and you get care at civilian hospitals. You don't have to go out to a base somewhere. So that's TRICARE Reserve Select, right? And basically, the other benefit of this is that you're also getting to know people within South Dakota, and you're making a lot of job connections. You're making a lot of personal connections, relationships, and these are really important because it opens opportunities for you with other stuff going on in the state. Kaioken, Canadian, no, we're not going to war with you. That's not happening. Okay. I don't listen to a lot of those people. It's a lot of folks are just trying to get you riled up. So 20 years in the Guard, how does retirement work? So the way this works is that since you're M-Day, you are not getting your retirement like you would on the active side. So on the active side, you would do 20 years and then your pension starts immediately after your 20 years is up. In the Guard side, M-Day side, right? Essentially, you're earning points, and the amount of points that you earn, you still can retire at 20 years, and then your pension starts based upon those points. So typically, it starts at 65, and then it backtracks depending on how many active duty years that you have accumulated. So every time that you go on orders, every time that you get mobilized, go on deployment, you're accruing active duty points, and then that's going to backtrack. So essentially, all the years that you put in, like on mobilizations and orders, comes back on from 65. And then the other great thing about doing 20 years is then you can still get TRICARE for life, which is a great healthcare alternative. It's great health insurance. Again, super low premiums, super low deductibles. There's other benefits that you get once you hit 20 years. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty good system that you can get. Yes, you can get Guard retirement and VA disability compensation at the same time if you qualify for it. And then also, just another point about joining the Guard, say you've been active before, as long as you can complete 20 years before the age of 60, then you can, roll over get back into the Guard and get signed back up. Would I suggest South Dakota as someone who lives in a state that's pretty far away? Depends on the state. And depends on what you want to do with your life. I personally am not born in South Dakota. I moved up from Nebraska. I do like South Dakota for several reasons. There's no state income tax. Like I was stating before, there's a supremely great job market here. We rank usually in the top 3, typically number 1 for unemployment in the nation. And with that is supply and demand. So we're talking about simple economics. So starting wages in the state are very good. Typically $18 an hour to work at a gas station, and there are help wanted signs literally everywhere. So pretty much as long as you're not a ne'er-do-well, you can pick up a job pretty quick here in South Dakota and then still join the South Dakota Guard. You had a maintenance team from you guys in the shop next to us in 2011 in Serrana. Oh. Hope you liked it. Well, and that brings up another point. So, even though South Dakota is small, even though the South Dakota Guard is small, they actually have quite a reputation amongst the force. Not a lot of people recognize the patch offhand, but those who have worked with us do. And I've received compliments from people from all sorts of different places where, we go out and we work hard and we do a good job and we're proud of what we do. So, all told, I've looked at the stats, I've looked at, the past history, and South Dakota National Guard is ranked number 1, if not in the top 3 consistently year over year for efficiency, for readiness, for retention, for like job quality, people wanting to re-enlist and stay here, like all of these factors, like it speaks highly of the organization. So National Guard is different from the Canadian Reserves in that the National Guard is unique within the world. So in a sense, we are a state militia, right? And so it's kind of unique. So it is a state militia. My commander-in-chief is the governor of South Dakota. And on top of that, and so with that, he's able to activate us for like state emergencies or state functions and things like that. Like I take direct command from the governor of the state, but also we are required to meet and maintain federal readiness standards. And the National Guard is actually the main reserve force for the active Army. So the federal government basically asks the state to borrow us, and then they pay for all the training and for all of our readiness. And then they are able to borrow us to fill in as reserve force for the active Army, and then we go out and do what needs to be done. I'm not entirely sure how the Canadian Reserves works as far as your readiness or how that you fill in the force structure, but I imagine that the Canadian Reserves are federal, when the biggest difference is that the National Guard is state. And so that is how you normally see the National Guard called out for like police functions or quelling riots. It's because we, since being state run, we do not fall under the Posse Comitatus Act, which prevents the Army from going out and serving as police in the nation. Hey, I appreciate that, Cody Coops. I can get behind this stream too. Oh, yeah. What's that? IST? Here, Sarah, what's the question about IST? Can you plug my Hold on. We're getting there.
Okay, sorry.
What's the ISD question?
Mr. Lonely 358 asked, "Is the IST process difficult if I wanted to change National Guard states?"
No, IST process is not difficult. And yes and no. IST process is not difficult to come here. IST process might be difficult to leave your state. Typically, all that needs to occur is talk to a recruiter in the state here. They'll start the paperwork and the process, and then you'll have some paperwork that you'll have to have signed by your commanders. Now, they are ordered to like technically they do have to sign those orders, but I have heard a few horror stories where feet were dragged and stuff happened. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but if you are considering an IST, basically easiest way to do that is to go onto nationalguard.com and then find a recruiter, look up the zip code for the area that you want to move to, and then contact the recruiter in that area, talk to them, let them know right ahead that you're currently serving, you're looking to IST. They're going to take care of everything else, honestly. So like it's in their benefit to get you to the place where you want to be and to make you happy and to get you into a unit that you want to join. And yeah, they're great. They're going to be great with it. So yeah, if you're considering IST, yeah, please do. So we'd love to have you. South Dakota National Guard's great organization, top ranked in the nation year after year. So yeah, it's a cool place to be. Next question. Or do we have one? No? Army or Navy? Talon Roy says Army or Navy? Army. My dad was Navy though, so.
Then Ancient Export asks, if you go to college, will your grades and credits go away if you get deployed or do your annual training, or do they hold your spot and give you extra time to graduate?
That's an excellent question. So there are actually federal laws designed to protect you if you are deployed or mobilized, okay? And so what these federal laws include is that you are allowed to suspend your lease without, so say you have like a 1-year lease, you're able to like submit these orders and end your lease early. Your employer is supposed to maintain your employment. And also on top of that, not only maintain your employment, but give you any sort of promotion or bonuses that you would have been entitled to during your time away. So say something weird happens, you're gone for like 5 years, and like in the meantime you should have been in line to get a promotion to manager or something like that. When you get back, they are legally required to essentially give you those promotions and bonuses. Now obviously like your employer isn't going to pay you while you're gone, but those are some of the benefits that you have and legal protections that you receive. And there's even an entire organization within the Guard called the Employee Service, the ESGR. The Employee Services for Guard and Reserve. I want to say ESGR. So these are essentially people that are there. They can talk to employers. They can talk to your school in case there's any sort of misunderstandings. But your school should be legally required to keep your place in your classes. I hope that helps. We got another question?
Cheeseman Media asks, what are your thoughts on the latest service rifle?
I have not had a chance to get my hands on it yet. It's kind of the downside of being in South Dakota. We are a great organization. We're also a small organization. And so we get the brand new stuff that we need that's important to our mission. So like one of the things we received last year was the brand new bridge erection boats. They were brand new because they were changing them out because South Dakota has one of the 2 major bridging units in the nation where they create bridges that float on the water, the float bridges. The other one is in California. And so we got brand new bridge erection boats. They're awesome, right? We receive other things, but the new rifle has not showed up yet because those are really going towards infantrymen and still being used in some case studies. And I want to say the 101st is using them right now to see how they're working out. New Jersey National Guard, I want to say, has received the new XM7. But yeah, it's going to be a while till it gets out here to South Dakota, just because we don't have infantry units. There's no infantry here. The closest we have to combat arms is 13 Mike, which is rocket artillery, and 12 Bravo combat engineers. So it's going to be a while. It looks cool. I like the concept behind it. I'm a little worried about how heavy everything's going to be, which I hear is a common criticism about the system. But, you know, hey, soldiers don't like to carry a lot of weight. What are you going to talk about? So, but yeah, otherwise, I mean, it looks neat. I like the enhanced capabilities that we'll get with the system like that. And yeah, otherwise, in all likelihood, I probably won't ever see one while I'm still serving, but you never know. Ooh, Jed Sterling says favorite military vehicle. Believe it or not, my favorite military vehicle is the MTV. Yes, the MTV, the 6x6 version of the LMTV. And I was the first truck that I ever got to drive in the Army, and I love it to tears because it has plenty of leg room, and it honestly is probably about one of the fastest trucks in the Army. Like the first through third gear is pretty slow because like it's crawling through those gears, but once you get past that and the turbo kicks in, and then you hear like the turbo boost wastegate opens up, and you're like, and then you take like it. I mean, it puts you back in your seat. Like you feel it when it takes off, but I don't know. I've put a lot of miles. I earned my driver's badge in the MTV. I drove it in South Korea for a year. Yeah, that's probably top tier. I know there's been people have different opinions, but yeah, I would love to get my hands on the new JLTV that's coming out to replace the Humvee. But again, South Dakota, we're not that big. I've seen other National Guard units have gotten them already. It's probably going to be a little bit longer, probably about 5 years down the line before we get GLTVs here. So, do we got another good question? No. Yeah, Jed agrees. He says they're awesome. They're very spacious. Yes, very. And the heater is amazing in there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so good. I love lasagna. I really love lasagna, metallic. It's probably, I mean, you can't go wrong with like meat and noodles and tomato sauce. Like, I mean, and cheese. Like it's a classic combination. I will literally eat that in any sort of like arrangement, like pizza, lasagna, tortellini, anything. SIG 320, otherwise known in the Army as the M17. It looks nice. I'm glad they have upgraded the trigger packages, and I'm glad that the M17 has a manual safety. That's my thoughts on the SIG 320. I've never gotten to shoot one yet. I've shot the M9. I've qualified with an M9. Have not shot the M17 yet. I'm kind of thinking about getting an M17 because there's an aftermarket frame out there that allows you to attach a stock. I would put a brace on it. We'll put a brace on it first, and then we'll decide if we want to get a tax stamp. Okay, but there's a frame out there. It's not very expensive, and that's got me thinking about that. But I don't know. I don't really have that much money right now. So yeah, metallic lasagna is goated. MRAPs. My opinion on MRAPs, and do I have any experience with them? Yes, I had the opportunity to ride in MRAPs when I was in Iraq the second time. The first time I was in armored Humvees. MRAPs were super cool. I felt really safe inside of them. It had so many unique capabilities. That being said, we were also in Iraq and were able to use like asphalt roads and paved roads. And so there are some like downsides to that. The other big thing, and that you realize really soon when you start working with armored vehicles, is that maintenance is so hard. I felt so bad for those guys. Just dropping the base plate on an MRAP to try to get to anything, like took a crane Like it's crazy. Like there's a lot of armor, and armor is heavy, and it just makes everything a little more difficult when you're trying to do like repairs and stuff. So other than that, like the inside the MRAP, super cool. Like these crazy like military Recaro seats, and you had a 4-point harness, and we all had headsets, and yeah, felt like a superstar. Corey Cody says, "What's going to replace Golden Coyote?" Right now, nothing. Individual units will go onto their ATs, and they've got different plans. I'm going to go out and cover some of those things. Some things are going on at Camp Ripley in Minnesota, and some things are going on at Camp Guernsey over in Wyoming. Some engineers are going to be doing upgrading things around the state, but it's kind of up to every battalion what they're going to be doing. I don't know if or when Golden Coyote might ever come back. Above my pay grade. Was I talking about the Hemet, the weird triangle-shaped cab? No, I was talking about the MTV. That is that's the cab over design. It's got like the flat front on the front of it. So not as heavy duty. It basically replaced the Deuce and a Half. Basically the LMTV replaced the Deuce and a Half. It was a 4x4, and then the MTV, the medium tactical vehicle, replaced the 5-ton. So, yeah, LMTV is the light medium tactical vehicle. MTV is the medium tactical vehicle. But yeah, very nice. Hey, Cheesy Man, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the compliment there. Let's see. I was trying to think of another thing that I was going to mention. And I got off track. Oh, I remember. I am thinking about... take care, Cheese Man. I was thinking about doing MRE reviews again. It was something that we did a couple of years ago. And I've got a box of MREs sitting here. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see again. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is, instead of going like in depth and being like really long with it and stuff, because there's a lot of MRE stuff out there, I thought it would be more fun if we did kind of like a Dave Portnoy one bite. He does like his one bite pizza reviews. So what if we did like a one bite MRE review? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Send me messages, whatever. Let me know if you think that would be interesting, if that's something you want to see. Alpha, I'm stationed in Rapid City, South Dakota. Part of the South Dakota National Guard. Ooh, a 20 millimeter Anzio takedown rifle. That's not very common in the Army inventory. Yeah, I've seen a CRAM before. That was pretty cool and crazy. $15 to eat the omelet MRE. I mean, I tell you what, you don't even have to give me the $15 if it gets the views. I'll try the omelet MRE. I've had let me preface this. I've had to receive the omelet MRE, did not eat the omelet MRE. But you guys, I'll do it. Bundeswehr, the Bundeswehr equipment, pretty awesome. I was stationed in Germany for 4.5 years, and then when I was active duty, and then I went back over to Germany actually a couple of years ago. I was stationed there for 10 months, and the Bundeswehr is always great. I really like the personal equipment. I'm gold qualified with my Schützenschnee. I'm gold qualified, so that was an awesome time. I qualified with the G36 and the USP and the MG3. And man, MG3 shoots really fast. So, and I own my own USP now, which that was kind of funny. Like the Grenadier, he was like trying to explain how to shoot a pistol, and I was like, and Nothing against him, but he was slightly incorrect, and so I just did my own thing, and then I qualified expert with the pistol, and he was like, "Oh," he was like, "You know how to shoot?" I was like, "Yeah, I own one of these, so what are you gonna do?" But yeah, from what I understand, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Metallic. I want to say that the Bundeswehr is like going to like an AR pattern rifles from HK, and they're getting rid of the G36. Let me know if I'm right, but yeah, green's you too, Metallic. So yeah, yeah, Corey. Yeah, those breakfast MREs, man. I don't know. What are you gonna do? But yeah, let's see. 45 minutes? Wow. Well, I guess not. We've been doing a half an hour. Sorry. I tried to start at 1:30. I had a whole fancy setup. We were using a fancy camera and it wasn't working. So now you're talking to me on my cell phone. So it is what it is. I'm glad it's working out. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else? Did we miss any questions from earlier? What's happening? All the things are happening, Wallace. Army CQB training. So that's interesting. So I have seen a lot of CQB training. It really depends on what your job is and what your unit you're in, right? So CQB is actually like incredibly hard, and you will receive some CQB training at basic training, and it's one of the like soldier tasks that you kind of work on, even in like where we are, where we don't really have combat arm units, but it's something that you learn some cursory stuff everywhere in the army. Now, as you go like higher and higher up, right? And so you have like, once you go like infantrymen and then you like rangers and then you go to like your ODAs and stuff like that, they take it like way more seriously and train way more on it and like get ready for it because it's more and more likely that it's going to be something that you engage in. Uh, your average common like truck driver, not so much. It's not impossible. I would possible. It's not probable. But yeah, it's fun to do though. It is fun to do. Andrea Cam has an interesting question if we've made any changes based off lessons from Ukraine. I can tell you that yes. Well, okay. Let me preface this. The conflict in Ukraine is something that is definitely being studied by a lot of different people right now, right? And one of the things that they're doing is they're seeing like what's going on, what are strategies, like what are countermeasures, and should we make changes to SOPs? With that being said, right, the National Guard and the Army as a whole it's a giant organization, okay? And so you got to think of it as kind of like a cruise ship, right? So a cruise ship doesn't just turn on a dime. Like there are processes and evaluations and like meetings and SOPs, and you think about the whole thing, right? The big picture. And so getting the entire force to change training and to go in a completely different direction is not something that's going to happen overnight. I do know that like I've been in long enough that I have gone from like near peer training to insurgent training and like coin counterinsurgency operations, and now we have gone back to near peer. And going back to near peer occurred about. It's actually been a while. It's been about 6 years, 6 or 7 years is when we started going back towards preparing for near peer conflict, and it's something that we're still working with and getting ready for. And it's not. I'm not saying this as like. I'm not saying this is like, oh no, we're going to go to war. I'm saying that looking at threat models and evaluating the battlefield and the global stage these are what we're thinking the current threats are going to be, and this is what we should be prepared for. And as they always say, you're always best prepared for the last war you just fought, but like we don't want to get caught with our pants down. So you change things up and you get ready, and a lot of people who are very smart and earn way more money than I do take all these things into consideration and then plan accordingly. How do you spend like 2 or 4 years over there? Clayton Bartlett, that does vaguely sound familiar, Damien. But I spent 2 or 4 years over there because I was stationed there, basically. I was stationed there, and then at the time, you you could be there and then basically re-enlist to stay there, stay at the same duty station. It's a lot harder to go to Germany now. A lot of those bases have shut down. The bases I was at, they're shut down now. There's really only like 3 places you can go in Germany now. I will say, uniquely, I've had a lot of opportunities to travel while I've been in the National Guard. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Romania, like the South Dakota National Guard themselves, they've gone to places like Romania, Djibouti, Germany, South Korea, Cuba, yeah, Poland. Poland's another one. So, and then we've got some people down protecting the southern border right now. So, yeah, a lot of unique and interesting opportunities in the National Guard that I really didn't know about when I first joined. So, Callum Castles, I'm glad you want to serve. I appreciate that, and thank you for thinking about that and considering serving your fellow countrymen. So, what does your MOS have to be a sniper? Either 11 Bravo or 19 Delta. It's a very boring job. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You sit in a place and you look with binoculars for a long time. I wouldn't be my pick, but hey, like whatever floats your boat. Do we got another question?
Yeah, Alex Gross asks, your opinion, because his girlfriend doesn't want him to join the military. Should he or should he not?
Ooh. Okay, Alex. Okay. I would say you need to take an evaluation of what you want most in life. Okay? You need to take an evaluation of what most you want in life, and you need to take an evaluation of like your goals and your girlfriend's goals, and basically decide if this person is someone that you're willing to marry, right? Is this a person that you're willing to like spend the rest of your life with? And is she going to be like very important to you, or are these other goals more important to you at this time? Depending on your age, like I'm guessing that you're probably pretty young if these are like considerations that you're making. No offense, no judgment, but I mean, at your age, I would probably be more concerned about your future career and the plans that you want to make for your life. Just personal experience, a lot of my relationships at that age didn't last forever. I didn't get married until I was 33. That being said, getting married was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Okay. I personally believe that with relationships, you should be very I've done a lot of this, so trust me on this. Okay. I personally believe that when you get into relationships these days, it should be with the ultimate goal of getting married and making a lifetime commitment. Okay. Otherwise, you're really eventually going to either hurt yourself or hurt the other person in the relationship. Okay. And essentially you're being selfish is the end goal of what that is. Okay. So, you really need to be committed to what's being going on and being committed to the other person. And if either of you are not really on the same page with that, then maybe you should not do that. That being said, okay, that is relationship talk. That being said, I can understand why your girlfriend would be concerned about you going to the military, because you will be gone for at least 10 weeks for basic training, and then you're going to be gone for some more time going to AIT, depending on what job you pick. Other than the time being spent away, there I wouldn't be too worried about it. Everyone's always like, "Oh, you'll go like, oh, you're gonna get deployed and blah blah blah," and like when you look at it statistically, okay, when you look at the past 20 years as far as casualties, like that's anybody being injured, and you look at the last 20 years of when we have been in active combat zones versus the amount of people who have been deployed to those areas, the statistics of you actually being even injured in any way are pretty low. Like I've been deployed twice, like, and I'm not saying that like nothing's impossible. Like it's still a dangerous place. There's a reason why we think our service members, but it's not like you like walk off the truck and then you like get zinged or something like that. It's not really how war works. War is really weird. War is very, very boring most of the time, thankfully. But yeah, I don't know. Just have a heart-to-heart talk with your girlfriend. Explain why you really want to do this. What are the benefits? How do you want to do this to invest in your relationship with your girlfriend? And hopefully you're making plans to get married, because like that really should be the ultimate goal there. And I hope you're successful in what you decide to do. And yeah, just think hard about things, research, look on the internet, talk to people. Don't go into things haphazardly. And hopefully like your girlfriend is a good person and somebody that you want to invest time with and hopefully build a life with. So, yeah. Metallic said, whereabouts in Germany was I? I was in Eder Oberstein, just north of Baumholder at first, and then they shut that place down, and we went over to Schweinfurt, and that was great. And then I got out, and then this last time I was in Stuttgart. So it's a good time. Very good. Oh, the food is so good. Hey, appreciate BC Reloaded. Wow, that's very interesting, Echo Rays. I'm reading your comment right now. When you were in basic, this was last year. Drill sergeants and CIs were running us through drills to counter drones and showing us combat footage from Ukraine on how to fight. That's good. That's really good. I'm glad that some of these things have been getting through there to basically get people ready and just, maybe if there's not an SOP out there, it's just something to consider and like keep mindful awareness about. I've seen a lot of footage from Ukraine myself, and yeah, some of that stuff is crazy. It's crazy. So it's very different from the time that I was in and when I went to Iraq a couple of times. Like, yeah, if they were doing the same things that's going on now, like, yeah, my time would have been way different. But yeah. All right, guys. Hey, unless we get another question here in the next like 30 seconds, I'm probably going to call it here. It's been about 45 minutes. I really appreciate everyone's time here. I hope you got some good information. Alex, yeah, take care. Best wishes for you. So, just think about stuff, okay? Metallic, Stuttgart. Oh, you live right next to there. True. Yeah, had a wonderful time there. Andrea Cam, thank you. I appreciate you being here with us. Callum, I think scouts help on some knowledge for surviving in the wilderness. Yeah, like if you're talking about Boy Scouts, yeah, totally. Boy Scouts is a great organization to be part of. Alpha, just real quick, go ahead and shoot your shot. David, 30 years old, too old to join? No. I wouldn't join Marines. You'd be a very old recruit if you join the Marines. But 30 years old is not too old to join the Army. I think the oldest dude I had when I went through was like 36, and you can be almost 40 now. But yeah, 30, you're going to be fine, dude. Yeah, you're going to be fine. Like, as long as you can make it through, you're going to be great. Hey, Pennsylvania, appreciate it. Alpha, yes, I have been to Fort Bragg. It was when I was in the Army Reserves, I was a 68 kilo medical lab tech, and it was 6 months being at Fort Sam Houston for the schoolhouse and 6 months on the job training. So I spent my 6 months at Fort Bragg because my old Army buddy, he was stationed there in the 82nd. Fort Bragg is Fort Bragg, and it's an interesting place. Okay, all right, guys. I think we're gonna call it, and appreciate everyone's time on this. Really appreciate it. Hope you got some good information on this. Hey, feel free to email me at SDArmyNG@gmail.com. It's the same name as the channel name. Feel free to email me at gmail.com. Let me know if there's some other video ideas you want me to do, some sort of equipment, or if we should do these live chats more often. So I appreciate your input, and yeah, again, thanks for being on this as part of the stream. So it's been a couple of months since I've done this. So thanks for making this so successful. Thanks again, guys. All right, take care. Somehow.